Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. And today it is the newest installment in how a blank can win in blank. And today it's how a Democrat can win in the state of West Virginia. And so the last time a Democrat did win in the state of West Virginia was actually its current governor, which was the Republican governor Jim Justice, who won as a Democrat in his first term, and then ended up winning a second term as a Republican because he switched parties around less than a year into his term. So let us get on to it, and honestly guys, I had a lot of trouble trying to figure this out. I figured out what kind of Democrat needed to win, but the steps to do it are kind of here and there. Maybe you don't need a lot of steps to win in a small state like West Virginia, but let's head into it. So obviously, Richard Ojeda would have been the perfect example of someone who could have won statewide in West Virginia. However, first, he had a congressional run, which, you know, he did very well considering the partisan lean of that district. I think he lost by 13 when he should have lost by high 20, low 30s. And of course, then instead of trying to go back and run for a state house district, which he easily could have won, he ended up running for president. That didn't even make it into 2023. He announced in 2022 and then dropped out later that year, which wasn't long, period. It's like post-2018 midterms near the end of December. That's not a long time. And since then, he has become sort of a resist lib. You know, just look at his Twitter and that's all he, or his X. Either way, I don't care what it's called, but just look at his Twitter or his X, whatever you want to call it, and then you'll understand where I'm coming from. But the kind of Democrat you need is someone who was like Richard Ojeda, or who Richard Ojeda once was, and that's a blue dog progressive, someone who is socially conservative and economically progressive. Not a conservative progressive, but more of a blue dog progressive, someone who's more conservative than, you know, what they need to be. Are there any names I have in particular? I fucking looked, and there's nobody. Nobody in West Virginia that I could find. There might be someone in West Virginia that we just don't know about, but this is the kind of Democrat you're looking for, a progressive blue dog, and I just couldn't find anybody. Everybody was either just sticking blue dog or neoliberal, maybe a progressive. There are quite a few of those for some reason, but you don't find anyone in this particular category. It's honestly a very rare category that I've come up with and just pulled out of my ass, so you're welcome. So what's the strategy for this hypothetical Democrat, this blue dog progressive Democrat, to win statewide in West Virginia? Taking a look in the 2020 gubernatorial race, Jim Justice outperformed Donald Trump by like 3 points. Trump won by 30 and he won by 33. Yeah, that's what that says. And this is mostly due to the fact that the most suburban county or urban county in the entire state, I believe it's Monongalia? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I have it. It's on this list. I have a list of counties to target. It's on there. That county, you know, swung so far to the left. However, it didn't go red, and it go red on any level, or at least governor, senate, and presidential. It might have gone blue down ballot, but, you know, outside of those three, it didn't go blue. It was close to going blue on the presidential level, but it didn't. So I think a big factor here is there was only like less than 200,000 votes, maybe a little over 150,000 votes separating the two, which, granted, it's not a lot compared to other states, but for West Virginia, it is. So how do you win? Rural voters are key. West Virginia is 80-70% rural, something like that. And so if you don't target those voters to a maximum, like even if they slam doors in your face, don't give up. You still need to target rural voters as if your life depended on it. No days off the campaign trail. One day you take off, you're fucked. I get it, you're tired, and really the only days you should take a day off are holidays, birthdays, etc. Right? However, you're in one of the reddest states in the country, and you're needing to win. Really? If you really want the governor's mansion, you really need to, you know, work hundreds of hours a week on the campaign trail. So this one's a bit risky. Now, this isn't something that I recommend. It's very much optional. Do this if you like to play games, the risky kind of games, is support the Republican nominee, especially if you're running for governor on that same year. See, like, you've got nothing to lose outside of a few Democrat voters, but at the same time, come on now. Come on. Okay, I get it. You're going to be losing, like, 1% of your Democrat base, which those are progressives. And even then, you can win them back easily with your progressive economics if you were to run on those. Those are also key. Pro-union, especially supporting coal unions. However, don't go as far as saying you would support policies or ideas from the union that would hurt the coaling industry. As soon as you do that, it's game over. West Virginia is a huge coal mining industry. Weed legalization is another, big thing that you could run on. Something that a lot of rural voters, for some reason, support. It's more so younger rural voters who vote Republican, but again, this will help you with that younger base, even though you don't really need to worry about them. The under 40s, they're helpful. Supporting weed legalization is something that will help you there, but they're not important. We'll get to who's more important in a second. Be against anti-big pharma, something Donald Trump and a lot of progressives do. This will help you in West Virginia. West Virginia is honestly, if you look up, anything regarding West Virginia and, insulin prices, there's a big issue over there in West Virginia. Jim Justice, I think he lowered the price of insulin twice. I should have looked up what the price of insulin was. It was lowered now that Biden passed his bill. It's lowered again, but, yeah, I think Justice lowered it twice in his 8 years. Again, support a progressive tax reform. Jim Justice did this when he was a Democrat. Earl Ray Tomblin. This is something that West Virginians support. They don't support a flat tax. Also support campaign finance reform. This is really something that West Virginians don't give a shit about. However, those that, do care will support it because West Virginia is a small state and, they want more representation in the whole electoral sphere of everything. Maybe get rid of out-of-state donations. That'd be interesting, not gonna lie. So when you talk about social issues, only talk about them from a conservative point of view. That means you gotta be pro-gun, you gotta be pro-life. And when I mean pro-life, I mean you've gotta support a 20-week ban at the fucking least. If you want to go 15 weeks, 10 weeks, go for it. At that point, you're probably alienating voters. But that 20-week ban after that, yeah, that's as far as you... that's your soft spot right there. On the pro-gun issue, do not support any form of gun control. None. Zilch, okay? None. I don't care if More Capito and Manchin supported gun control legislation. Even the smallest bit, that's what it was. It was a very small bit. Don't do that. You're only giving votes to the Republican nominee that way. And also support energy independence, but again, be very careful about the coal industry, the coal miners. Very careful of those people. Also, stay away from the LGBT issue. Now, it's not that, there's a 50-50 chance here. Either you're 25, there's a quarter chance on every issue. You support it, it doesn't hurt you. You support it, it hurts you. You don't support it, it doesn't hurt you. You don't support it, it hurts you. Just stay away from the issue. Dance around it anytime you're asked. Do not talk about it. It's honestly, probably the most risky thing you can do. More so than being a Democrat endorsing the Republican nominee for president, but talking about LGBT issues in Ruby Red, West Virginia. So what are the counties to target? There's 9 counties to target, all of which were won by the Republicans. Granted, Republicans won every single county in 2020. You need to target Ohio County, Jefferson, Berkeley, Monongalia, that's the one I was trying to say earlier, Marion, Harrison, Cobble, Kanawha, and Fayette. These are your counties you need to target, and what do you need to do in order to win these counties? What's left to do? Again, rural voters are top priority. Most of these counties are very rural, a little bit suburban, maybe urban, but mostly urban, right? Your white working class voters, your coal miners, they should be a second priority. So you need to be a pro-worker, as we've already talked about with the union. You need to be a protectionist on trade as well. That will help you big in West Virginia, as they were honestly the worst state hit by NAFTA. Granted, the USMCA has helped, but with COVID, yeah, they're not doing great up there. I say up there because I'm from North Carolina and they're north of me. Also, the age group you need to prioritize are your 50s and up. Doesn't matter if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, whatever. These are your people you need to prioritize. West Virginia is majority old. Majority 50 plus. Should be careful what I say about that. If you can win older folk, you win the election. It's game over for the Republicans. Also, focus on poverty. The poverty rate in West Virginia is at 14%. You need to do this from a very, very narrow line of progressive and conservative. You can do it. I know you can. Now, granted, 14% is a lot. However, ever since, Tomblin and Justice, they both have done a lot of work. Because it was like in the 60s before Tomblin came in. It was in the 30s when Justice came in. Now it's in 14%. So those two have done a lot of great work. And, you talk about that. Maybe don't talk about it with Jim Jessup. Talk about the last time we had a Democrat governor, L. Ray Tomblin. He got the poverty rate down so much. Also, this is a classic door-to-door talking with everyone. Even if they slam the door in your face, don't give up. That will tell people that you care enough to listen to their issues regardless of what party they are. And it will give you more attention. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sorry for all the cuts that are inevitably be put in. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Chaotic One saying peace.